And as long as we're on weird cases, here's another one for you. I get a call out in the middle of the night. Must have been 3, 4 in the morning. And by this time, I had gotten used to getting these early morning phone calls because initially, when it first started, I believed it to be a family member who had passed. But by this time, I knew it was another call out, so I answered the phone.
Yeah, it's not someone you know yet.
No. So they tell me that they found a body up in Angeles Crest Highway above Pasadena and Temple, that area, in the wooded area. What happened was a teenage girl runaway was hiking down this mountain road and saw a body at the bottom of a ravine. So she goes to contact the rangers at this park. Rangers call the police, the sheriff's department, and the sheriff, ultimately the detective on the case, calls me out to the crime scene to have a look at the body. So I examined the body and didn't find anything of note. Later on, it turns out that there were 4 defendants in this case, plus the 5th guy who was a former partner in this group. The 4 principals who were responsible for the murder would go around to homes in the San Gabriel Valley and eastern part of LA and burglarize home for jewelry. And the 5th guy would take it to pawn shops to get rid of, sell the stuff to try to make some money. The 4 defendants decided that the salesman was not distributing up the goods in a fair way.
That's the first thing I thought of, was he's going to lie to them about how much he got.
Right. You know, there's no honesty among thieves.
Right.
So they decide that they're going to exact their revenge, and they take him in a trailer, in a camper, up to the hills, Angeles Crest Highway. And before they kill him, they tell him to get on his knees and say his prayers, and they shot him in the back of the head. Through the body, tumbles down the ravine where he's ultimately found. So the case is getting ready for trial, and one of the defendants decides, let's make a deal. I'm going to give the district attorney some what I think might be useful information, tell him what happened right before the killing, and maybe he can use this information. So he tells him the following story, that they got him on his knees, say his prayers, and the guy says right before they killed him, he shat his pants. He pooped himself. Anyway, I'm on the witness stand testifying on the case, and the district attorney, just out of the blue, asked me, he says, now, Mr. Fisher, when you were at the crime scene examining the body, did you happen to notice the odor of feces? And I'm about to answer the question, and the 4 lawyers on the case jump up in unison and cry out to the judge, Your Honor, there's no showing that this person has any expertise in this area. We want to take him on voir dire, meaning to question the witness, me, on whether I have the expertise to testify about the odor of feces, of poop. So they start examining me, cross-examining me about my background and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm watching this transpire, and each lawyer is going at it themselves, and there happens to be a blackboard that's facing parallel to the jury box. And the lawyers would get up from time to time, stand up behind the chalkboard where the jury couldn't see them and they would be laughing at me in hysterics. And I'm watching this and I'm getting annoyed because I'm running out of euphemisms for poop. And the strange thing happens to me as I'm testifying. I have a flashback to college when I'm taking a class in public speaking, and the instructor says, when you are giving a talk, do not use the same word over and over again because it bores the audience. So this thing is searing into my memory, and I'm saying, okay, how do I describe the subject matter? I can't say some colloquial terms which some people might find offensive. I could say excrement, feces, fecal material. Poop is probably getting a little too close to the edge. So I'm doing this, and I finally had enough, and I look up to the judge and I say, Your Honor, it's my experience that anybody who's changed a diaper knows what it smells like.
Right.
So the judge thought for a moment, slams his gavel down, and he says, Mr. Fish is an expert in this area and may testify. So he says, answer the question. So by this point, I'm feeling a little cheeky, and I say, could you repeat the question?
Nice.
So they tell the court reporter to ask the question. She's pulling back this tape all the way back to where the question was asked, and asked, did you smell the odor of feces? And I answered in one word, no.
Amazing. All that for nothing.
All that for nothing. But that was one of my weirder cases.